Hello, my dear friend. How are you?
Hello.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. Thanks for coming today.
Thank you.
I'm going to be Amy Colvin instead of Green Trails Church today. How about
Sounds good.
that? All right. Thanks for joining me, my dear friend, today to talk about get out the vote. These are Zoom diaries that we've been doing for the church, and part of it is trying to talk to people about things they've been doing during COVID and quarantine and all the things that are going on out in the world. And you have found a particular passion with a couple of things, but definitely with the upcoming election, the idea of making sure that people can vote. So you're partnering with Get Out the Vote. You went to the church. We're going to have some upcoming things. Tell me a little bit about how you got there. It started with your getting a notary, right?
Yes, I was inspired by a friend, a mutual friend, Jody Woodward.
Hmm.
She got her notary because she's very passionate about it, and I saw that she had done that on Facebook, and I was like, well, I can do that, So that just kind of gave me the nudge that I needed, and I felt like it was necessary because it's hard to. That's just one extra barrier for people, especially in this pandemic. It's scary. You don't know, there are some people that might be a little more vulnerable and can't get the polls, and that's an extra step they have to take. So if we can try to minimize or make it a little bit easier for them is the goal.
Right, and a lot of bank lobbies are still not open. As you and I talked on the phone the other day, I mean, if I used to need a notary, I was a notary because I worked at a bank, and if I used to need a notary, I knew I could go to the bank real quick, and there was somebody there who had that. But a lot of lobbies are not open, and we don't know if they will be in the foreseeable future in St. Louis County anyway. So to have that extra access for something like that is excellent. So thank you for doing that. Now,
Yeah.
how do you think you'll use it? Because some ballots have to be notarized and some don't. Is
Um,
that correct?
no, all absentee and all mail-in ballots for this election have to be notarized.
Okay. All
So
right.
if you have an absentee or mail-in, it has to be.
Okay. So, but then the other portion of this, you got your notary, and then you thought, okay, so what's the next thought you had about helping people get registered to vote?
I hadn't really thought about it until what I don't know what it was that kind of gave me the idea to do it at church. I thought I don't know. I don't know what gave me that idea. I'm sorry.
Well, that's great. It doesn't matter what it gave you that idea, but the passion for wanting to get people registered to vote versus the ballot, because that's the other portion of this, right?
Right. Oh, the registering to vote. Actually, Pastor Linda had mentioned it to me, and that she had done some voter registration at other churches, and that would go along well with this. And I thought, yeah, that's a really great idea. That's even more something else with. So
Right. So, in a fairly affluent area like Chesterfield and Green Trails, you would think people would be registered to vote. But things change. People change. Their addresses change. People turn 18. They're able to vote. So, what is it that the you hope to accomplish with the voter registration drives that we're having at the church? And do you want to go ahead and tell the dates of that and the dates and times?
yes, so it's going to be September 12th from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. And then we've got September 9th or and October 4th. And all of those are 11 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Okay.
And so I'm planning on having forms for a mail-in ballot request form for people to take and fill out. And then once they get them, they come back at a later date to be notarized. I mean, yeah, once they get their ballots. And then I plan on having people there to help register people who aren't registered or to check their registration to make sure that they're still registered or registered in the correct polling place. That's another thing. You don't know whether they've changed their polling place on you or not, and so that's an important thing to know.
Sure, and there are lots of changes to that every year, the polling place changes. So basically, here's what we're going to accomplish with the voter registration day. So if you are not registered to vote or want to verify your registration, you can come by and we can help you with that. And
Yeah,
then you just have to bring your ID, right, to help you
that,
get registered.
that's correct. Yeah.
Okay. And then if you have a ballot already, you can notarize that. Do they also need their ID? But the one thing you don't want them to do, I would suspect, is sign it before they come. Is that right? They need to sign it in your presence. Is
Right.
that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Sign it in your presence, but also have their ID.
Yes.
Okay.
Sign in
And
my presence, their ID. And let's see, as far as, I did want to mention one thing.
yes.
If you plan on doing a mail-in or an absentee ballot, um, you cannot do the absentee ballot and or the mail-in ballot plus go to the polling. You have to surrender your mail ballot if you plan on registering or voting in person. So
Okay.
you take it with you. Sorry.
Oh, that's really great. No, no, that's important. It's a really important thing, to know that. Um, so if you change your mind, it's not going to work, right? If you say, "Oh, I'm going to get a mail-in ballot," and then, "Okay, I think I'm going to go to the poll,"
Well,
will
you
that work?
take that mail-in ballot that you received and you can surrender it at the
The
poll.
poll. Okay.
Bring it with you.
You have to bring it with you. You can't actually then vote while you're there instead, is what you're
Right.
saying. Gotcha.
Yeah.
So once you've requested those ballots,
Well, you can vote instead, but you have to surrender that mail-in ballot.
either way, you have to have the ballot with you. It's what you're saying. Right. Okay. Well, that's actually, I did not know that. So that's tons of news. You know what I mean? For people to understand. If they change their mind, they can, but they have to have the ballot to be able to do it. And they can surrender it at the polling place on the day, but again, they have to have it with them. So that's great information. So the other thing we're going to accomplish with this is obviously these are going to be outdoors, right?
Yes.
And
Outdoors, socially distanced, and we're going to ask that people wear masks. And obviously, if you're vulnerable to get to this pandemic, then you'll want to wear a mask anyway. And we'll all be wearing masks, and we'll try to make it as safe as humanly possible. So,
right. All right. So uh, there could be many reasons why people haven't registered to vote, and or they want to go ahead. And certainly, it's advised in this climate to get that ballot in early. So the minute we're going to do this through October. Now the dates that you picked are important too because there's a deadline to being able to register to vote. Is that correct? Am I understanding that correct?
there is a deadline, but I chose October 4th because you really want to get those ballots in as soon as possible. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
because, the mailing system's probably going to possibly be backlogged. I don't know. So just to be on the safe side, we want to try to get them in as soon as possible.
Sure.
But in order to register to vote, you have to register, I believe it's 27 days before the voting date.
Okay.
Before, so that was my other.
And okay. So we're going to accomplish many, many things in these three. So if you come to the first one and get a ballot or get registered to vote and choose a ballot, then you can come to a subsequent one of these workshops that we're having and get it notarized. So,
Yes.
and you can also register to vote to voting in person. So we can do any of those things. I won't be able to. You're going to notarize any of the ballots, and we're going to hopefully get people registered to vote. But the key thing is your ID, and don't sign a ballot before you come so that it can be notarized
Mhm.
appropriately. Anything else that you want people to know? We're going to do it safely. We're going to do it outside. Should the weather change, I guess we'll have to make a plan B, or there might not be a plan B for that date, but we'll continue to keep people communicated with on that.
Yeah, my idea, if the weather changes, is maybe doing like a curbside
Okay.
station so people can drive in and maybe I could just do it right outside their car to make it a little bit
Okay.
easier for them.
All right. So it does
Um,
sound like you have a plan B. That's
yeah,
great.
kind of.
Well, that's what 2020 is about. Pivot, right? We got to
Yeah,
figure it out. We can't, nothing's guaranteed. So, all right. Well, thank you, friend. Is there anything else you really want people to know about this effort?
yeah.
Besides, go ahead.
There's one other thing. I can notarize anybody in the state of Missouri. So if you have a friend or you know somebody, or if anybody knows somebody that needs it done, bring them and we'll help them. We'll help them get registered. We'll help them get notarized. Do what we can to help
So
them.
it's not restricted to St. Louis County residents.
That is correct. It's
Yeah.
not restricted to St. Louis County. Yeah.
Fantastic. So that's good. That's very good information because there could be somebody in an outlying county or, yeah, a family member or something that's a little harder for them to happen.
Yeah.
So that's great. Thank you for doing this, and thank you for being the passion behind it. Thank you for getting your notary, all of those things, and providing this community service as a church. We certainly think that it is a great service to provide to the community. It has no political ramifications, and certainly no one is encouraging what type of vote you make in any office. Because we have a lot to vote in Missouri this year, but certainly the opportunity to vote is a great freedom that all of us want people to have access to. So thank you for helping make that happen, Amanda.
The notarizations are free as well. I just
Oh,
want to,
yes. Everything is free. Thank you
yeah.
very much for that. You could charge for your services, but you do not. So thank
And
you so
also,
much.
you need to, if you can't come at any of those dates, if you look on the St. Louis County website, I believe it's Secretary of State's voting information. They have a list of notarizers who will do it for free for you. So just contact one of them. Just look it up and contact one of them. But yeah,
And do you have that website address?
I don't, but I can get it and put it in the comments on
Okay.
the Zoom.
Fantastic. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. Thanks again for your efforts. And we'll look forward to seeing people out on September 12th, September 20th, and October 4th.
Yes.
All right. Thanks
All
and
right.
have a great day.
Thank you. You too.
See ya.